LeBlanc, how are you feeling?
I'm well, thank you. I'm very well.
Dominic LeBlanc's return to Parliament took longer than most other MPs after the election. In fact, he had been away from this place for more than 6 months.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Yes, you seem in good spirits.
Yeah, I feel great.
Yeah, good.
It was his second diagnosis of cancer since 2017.
Well, it was a very rare form of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a fairly frequent or a reasonably common type of blood cancer, I think. Yeah. But the particular kind I had, there have been around 500 people in the world who've been diagnosed with it since the 1980s.
It became clear quite quickly that he would no longer be able to do his job as the Minister of Intergovernmental and Northern Affairs.
When the news of my health challenge was made public,
his diagnosis was about to take up his whole life.
I remember calling the Prime Minister, I think, at the beginning of April. I said, that's just not going to work. So he was very, very, very generous throughout the whole thing.
He is one of your closest friends, though.
Yeah, but he's also my boss, and he's also the Prime Minister who has a responsibility to have a functioning government. Yeah. So he looked after that part of it, and then would check in with me as a friend would.
Justin Trudeau and LeBlanc have famously been friends since childhood, when LeBlanc sometimes acted as his babysitter. But LeBlanc has been in politics for a lot longer, waiting 15 years to have a chance to serve in cabinet. He wasn't ready to give up.
To be honest, Rosemary, I never contemplated not running again. And I don't think I'm finished doing what I want to do as a member of Parliament or a cabinet minister. I wasn't going to let a difficult medical situation cut off something that I love doing.
LeBlanc flew to Montreal to begin treatment aboard a private plane owned by Jim Irving, a friend and a member of New Brunswick's powerful and wealthy Irving family. The trip was cleared ahead of time by the ethics commissioner, and LeBlanc says it was the only way he could safely get to Montreal.
I know you were cleared to do that, but I wonder whether you still think that was the right decision, or should you have just driven yourself?
No, that was absolutely the right decision. The doctors didn't think a 12-hour drive. In some cases, you have only a few hours to get to a hospital if you develop a fever because you have an infection. And I didn't think trying to find on La Route 20 in Quebec or Highway 2 in New Brunswick to get to an emergency room was the best way to do it.
For 56 nights, LeBlanc was in isolation, undergoing a stem cell transplant. It meant he could not campaign during last fall's election, leaving it to his friends, volunteers, and even a former prime minister.
Hi, John. How are you?
Did you ever think, I'm not sure this is going to work out? Or were you positive?
The election or the medical?
No, the medical stuff.
I never doubted the election.
Like, it sounds like you got lucky on a lot of fronts, like whether it be the match and the physical ability to endure it, all those things. Like, in some
Rosemary,
ways.
I felt enormously lucky.
Yeah.
What's the chance you find a 10 out of 10 genetic match donor in another country with the same blood type who's a younger male? In fact, they found two.
L'honorable Dominic LeBlanc.
A couple weeks later, his immune system now reduced to that of an infant, LeBlanc was sworn back into cabinet as president of the Queen's Privy Council.
When you showed up for the cabinet swearing in, and you were completely bald at the time.
That's not true. I had like a little kiwi. I had a tiny.
Hard to see on TV.
Yeah, no, but it was there. I was kind of proud of it. Yeah.
And you were wearing a mask, I think.
I asked the doctors if I could go to some event at Rideau Hall, so I probably broke the confidence of the cabinet swearing in. They laughed and they said, yeah, but don't go to the reception afterwards. Don't shake everybody's hand. Use a lot of Purell and wear a mask. Which I did.
Yeah.
Because I had literally been out of the hospital for 2 weeks.
The Honourable Minister.
Even now, LeBlanc's health is fragile. Coming to work means exposing himself to sickness. But after so many months away, it has also recommitted him to public service.
It makes you motivated to want to make a real contribution to the country or to my constituency. Because that's an opportunity that not many Canadians have, and I've been given that opportunity, so you don't want to waste any day of it.
I'm glad you're doing well.
Thanks, Rosemary.
Thank you for making the time.
Thank you very much.
I'm
glad to see you.
Thank you, glad to see you.
Rosemary Barton, CBC News, Ottawa.